Hey everyone, this video is a bit longer than intended. It just kept getting longer and longer as I was going through and trying to fit more and more into it. And we get through quite a bit in it. We go from being able to move in two directions to having orientation warping implemented in, well, pretty much every direction, minus backward, because we have to do a bit of extra work to get things working well with that. And by the time we finally got to that point, the video, at least the recording, I'm not sure how it's going to turn out here when I edit it, is about 30 minutes long. So I'm going to push that back until the next video after this one. And I don't want to prolong this intro any longer, so let's get into it. Alright everyone, so I'm not starting this part of the video inside of Unreal Engine as I usually do, but rather my plugins folder for the distance matching project. And that is because I have a file that's for a plugin not created by me from the Unreal Engine Marketplace that has been updated to a more recent version called Custom Anim Node. And we can drag that into our plugins folder. And now if we go back into our project and open it up, it will ask us to rebuild these modules, and we're going to select yes, and that will, because even though the Custom Anim Node plugin provided is a more recent version, it's not the most recent. The one on the marketplace is, I think, 4.17, 4.19. This one's 4.24, which is much closer. And it easily builds straight into 4.26. Now, if we go to our animation blueprint, and if we go inside of our forward state, we can add an orientation warping node. We can add our IK foot root bone as our IK foot root bone. We'll add 3 array elements here. Spine 1, spine 2, spine 3. Now, if we just, for the sake of demonstration, get character, get velocity, and get actor rotation. Get world rotation. I think. No. Get transform. Get actor rotation. Here it is. Okay. I had to type transform to pull it up for some reason. Now we can drag out from velocity, and we can type in direction and select calculate direction. We plug in our velocity to velocity and our get actor rotation to base rotation, our return value of calculate direction into orientation warping. And now if we click play, and if I keep the camera straight on and hit W and D at the same time, the character walks at an angle. If I go in any other direction, there's no orientation warping. Now, we're going to go into the character and change some settings. Select character movement, search yaw. Actually go to self and search yaw. And check use controller rotation yaw. We'll compile and save. And now wherever we turn the camera, the character follows. Also as the result of the character spinning around in place, but we will fix that in a later video. For now, we need to take our orientation warping. And now it gives us this warning on orientation warping, saying it's an editor-only module, but is placed in a runtime blueprint. We're going to ignore that for now. It also has the result of making our character a potentially thread unsafe call. We're also going to ignore that. This is something that I don't have time to look into to get this video out in time, but I am going to look into it further and fix it before the series ends. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to do that without delaying this video. Okay, now in our anim graph, we're going to go to our stop state. We're going to copy right/left. We're going to go into running, into movement, into forward. We're going to paste our right/left state, and we're just going to rename it forward. Now we're going to plug this into orientation warping. And we're going to cut our play and run F anim. And instead, we're going to rename this entry node inside of this right/left, or well, no, I'm sorry. Instead, we're going to rename our entry node in our forward state machine to running. And we're going to paste our in run F anim, compile and save. And it looks like I've had a crash. So let's go ahead and restart that. Okay. So let's plug in our right/left state again. And let's get our play and run F anim and plug that in. It worked that time, and I think it's because maybe it's because we named these two state machines here the same thing. So for now, I'll leave it as right and left, and I'll try to brainstorm up a better name here. I'm going to go to play. And let's see what's happening. We need to go back to our movement. Actually, all the way out to our locomotion state. And we're going to get the logic for going from running to stopping. We're going to go back into running, back into movement, back into forward, back into right/left. And from forward to left up, we're going to paste that logic in, get an and boolean, and plug this in. We'll copy everything, paste, plug not into the bottom pin of our and in our forward to right up, and plug the and into can enter transition. Now, if we click play, we have some of the logic set up for orientation warping to work inside of our stopping state. It's not there yet. It's taking the rotation, and it's calculating the direction while we're moving. And it resets the direction when we let go of the keys, so we're going to have to build out some logic for that, and that will be the next video. But for now, we have a sort of blueprint for our forward orientation warping. and for our forward, right, left, and backward directions. So we can go back into our running state, which I'm actually going to change to Locomotion. And I'm going to add a state, and it is going to be RT for right. I'm going to add a state, and it is going to be LT for left. I'm going to move entry. I'll leave entry here. And we're going to drag 2 pins to and from each of our directional states into every single other directional state. And we're going to drag an entry pin into each and every state. Now, that is a lot of transitions. We're going to set up our logic. So for our forward to right, you can click on any of them to right, because this doesn't matter at all. We're going to get our direction, which we actually need to make a variable. We were just doing this for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to cut our logic out of our forward state, go back to our event graph, paste it in. I'm going to promote this to a variable and name it direction. Now I'm just going to plug this in after our set forward direction, boolean, compile, save, and now I'm going to get our direction variable, plug that into Locomotion angle under our orientation warping in our forward state, and I'm just going to copy that direction variable. Now in our forward to right, I'm going to paste that direction, and if that direction is, and we're just going to say greater than 45, and we're also going to get a less than, and I believe 135. I'm going to get an and we're going to plug that into can into transition. Now, if we go to our right and click on this forward to right connection, we can promote this to shared and name it RT for right. And now for each one going into right, you can say use shared and then our RT for right. Now if we transition from going forward to going right, we go into an A pose, which is good. It means our logic is working. So, only thing actually I think we need to change, and that is to do greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. And we'll be using the same values, 45 and 135. I'll compile and save. I'm going to copy this logic, and from right to forward, I'm going to paste it. I'm going to say if this is greater than, or actually I'm going to say, I'm going to delete the greater than or equal to and grab another less than or equal to. I'm going to say if this is less than or equal to 45, or if it is less than or equal to, and I need to do some math over here. Negative 315. We are going... I'm sorry, not negative 315. I'm thinking in 360 degrees. Negative 135. We can intertransition into forward. And we're going to do the same thing we did with right. We're going to promote to shared. Name it FWD for forward. And we're going to use shared on all of our connections going into forward. There should be 5 connections going in each of these. So now I notice that our orientation warping doesn't seem to be working here. So let's go and let's just print string on our direction. Set the duration to 0. It's not, doesn't seem to be calculating. Just strange. Oh, it's not plugged in, of course. Okay, so it's calculating. Okay. My mistake. I put the values in wrong. So I go into our forward, and it should be is less than or equal to 45, or greater than or equal to negative 45. Now, our forward state is working. We can go from right back into forward. Now, we're going to find a transition into left. We're going to paste. We're going to copy our logic first, either from right or to forward. We're going to find a transition that goes into left. We're going to paste, and we're going to plug in our and into can intertransition. Now it should be less than or equal to negative 45 and greater than or equal to negative 135. And that will put us in our left state. And now we have to take that, promote to shared, LT for left, and use shared on all of our pins going into left. And this logic is fairly basic. It's not advanced logic for doing directions. It won't support doing directions that switch where you can have backward and forward, left or right, like in ALS. But I'm trying to keep this series as simple as I can keep it, and I'll be doing a very more in-depth advanced series on some more complex locomotion techniques inside of Unreal Engine 5 when it comes out, because that gives me plenty of time to actually build something up completely in advance. In these videos, I've gotten to the point where I'm figuring some of it out as I go, like this here, I haven't done before, just because I know this well enough that I'm confident in being able to get things right in a video in a decent amount of time, and you guys get to see a bit more of my process of figuring things out as well. So, we're going to go from left to backwards. I'm going to plug that in, and if it is less than or equal to negative 135, or greater than or equal to 135, we will go backward. Now, the video is getting a bit long, so I'm going to copy everything inside of our forward state. I'm going to plug that into right. And I'm just going to add a float to the direction. I'm going to add 90 and plug that into locomotion angle. And now our character has bent around a bit more than I want him to be. So let's go into our orientation warping and let's add 2 more bones. We're going to add neck 01 and head and head. I almost tried to add head 01, like our character is more than one head. And now this looks much more natural. So I'm going to copy this orientation warping in our right state, paste it into forward, and plug it in. And I'm just replacing our old one with our new one that has 2 more bones inside of it. And now in our backward state, we're going to paste. I'm going to get our copy everything and forward again. In our backward state, I'm going to paste it. Except now, actually first I'm going to go into rename this forward state backward. BKW. I was doing PWD, okay. I want to stay consistent here. I'm going to replace play in run F anim with play in run B anim. Compile, save. Actually, I'm just compiling and saving out of habit. I'm in the habit of compiling and saving way too much, and I sort of say it along in the videos as I do it. I'm not sure completely why. And I forgot to promote to shared this backward transition. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, now I'm going to compile, and backward acts a bit weird because of our direction, which is something that I'm planning for. And I have a plan to fix for that we will start implementing in the next video. You'll also notice that there's, if you, sometimes you get a little bug when in the logic when you go from stopping to going again and you sort of freeze up just like this. Don't worry if you guys have noticed that. I have too, and that is also, and I'm going to work on a fix for that. This video is already 30 minutes long. As of recording it, I'm probably going to cut some of this out. It'll be the longest video in the series already, so I just want to go into left. I'm going to go into backwards, copy everything. I'm going to go into left. I'm going to paste this. I'm going to get an add float. Plug this into locomotion angle. Change it to -90. 90 then. Okay. Let's try 270, because I cannot think right now. There we go. And then backwards doesn't work, but going from left to right and right to left works. Our stopping just turns the character, which we'll fix, and that'll look much better. So, now we can move around in 3 different directions for the most part. Backwards isn't fully working. I have to do some fixes there, make some fixes there. And then, well, we'll be on to working on our starts and fixing some of these bugs. And I'll cover as much as everything of all this as I can in the next video. I'm going to leave this video here. It's really long, and we've worked a lot of stuff in. And, well, I guess I'll go ahead and roll the outro. Alright, everyone. Thank you for watching. I hope you really enjoyed the video. I hope you found it helpful. And if it was, give the video a like, and if you've been enjoying the series, subscribe and hit that notification bell, and maybe consider joining the Discord server too. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.